Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome everybody to this Friday edition of Primetime Local News. Connor Chan and Abby St. John here to wrap up the week for you, including with our question of the day. With all those people that were waiting outside in theaters across the country yesterday and around the world for Avengers Endgame, we asked you what is something that you would wait hours in line for?
I would not wait in line for really anything. I'm not a patient person, so I don't like waiting more than 10 minutes in a lineup. So it's a tough one. Maybe free dog.
Free dog.
I think that would be my exception, but other than that,
like
you won't see me in any long lineup.
Fair enough. Well, we'll read some of those comments and have this discussion later on the show, but right now let's send it over to Eric Bay, who is on location.
Thanks. Today we are here at the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Center, where today I'm going to be learning a little about acrylic painting and more specifically the pour painting technique. We're going to learn how to mix paints, also a couple different techniques that will be shown today where you could create something like these paintings you see here. There's a class coming up that if you do want to learn a little bit more about that pour painting, you are able to take. But first, we're going to send it back into the studio where Abby has a look at your local news.
Thanks, Eric. Well, another grass fire broke out yesterday, this one happening in the border city. Fire crews were out on scene just off 47th Ave and 50th Street to fight the fire.
We got report of a grass fire along the railway tracks by the men's shelter. Crews responded quickly out of Station 1 where they're stationed out of, and we got the grass fire under control quite quickly.
The crews were able to get the fire quick enough before it got out of control.
We got it in the early stages. We were able to manage and get it under control quickly, and in these conditions, these windy conditions, that's important that we can get out fast and get control of it quicker.
The cause of the fire is still unknown and is under investigation. Ahead of National Day of Mourning on the 28th, the City of Lloydminster held a ceremony to honor those who have lost their lives due to workplace injury and illness, and our Jasmine King has more on the ceremony.
The ceremony was held to honor the 162 Alberta workers and 48 Saskatchewan workers who passed away in 2018. Flags were lowered and there was a moment of silence held. The city held this event to make sure that the lost lives were honored.
Well, I feel like the recognition really is important because a single life lost is too many lives lost. So what we do is we want to do everything we can and just reaffirm our commitment to health and safety to ensure that we can take all the steps we need to prevent any unnecessary injuries or fatalities at the worksite.
Being aware that people were affected by a potential lack of proper workplace safety is something the city is hoping that people take away from the day of mourning.
Behind all this, when you see the loss of life, you're losing brothers, fathers, mothers, sisters, family members that didn't make it home at the end of the day. And so we really need to pay attention to the fact that safety is not something you just do and once and you're good. It's something you need to be cognizant of all the time.
The city is also trying to make sure they can avoid workplace injuries by making sure their employees learn about precaution and safety at the workplace.
We try to take a proactive approach to health and safety, and so what we do is we have systems in place. We encourage our coworkers to work in a safe manner, and we also have an event called Mosh Week, which stands for Mind on Safety and Health. So what it is it's a 3-day event where we have keynote speakers coming in, we have breakout sessions, and the focus is on giving our employees the tools and skills they need to succeed, as well as affirming their commitment with the keynote.
Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
This year's Dancing on the Border Festival is taking over the Vic Juba Theater this weekend. The festival will feature a new improv category to bring a bigger city style to Dancing on the Border.
Our motto this year is just because we're small town doesn't mean that we need to act like a small town, right? So we can bring a big city-style festival to a smaller town. So we added the improv category. Basically what it is dancers will receive their song a few minutes before they go on stage, and they just go and groove out. They're competing for $100 cash and a trophy.
Dancing on the Border is only 3 days this year because of the Easter break.
We have all the way from ages 6 to adults, so it could be up to 20, and I believe we have about 100 dancers this year. We're a little bit of a smaller festival this year because we're landing on the end of the Easter break, but sometimes we'll run 5-day festivals with up to 300 dancers.
The event begins at 9 a.m. every day and runs until Sunday. And now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Back here once again, and I'm joined by Amber, and we've been talking about pour painting. So we just did one technique, and now we're looking at a new technique and also repurposing some canvases. So what are we doing now?
Well, these are some old canvases we had, and because acrylic paint likes to cover other paint, it's a great time to repurpose. We are going to do a spin technique. You can start by just pouring in the middle and you just keep pouring and spinning, or what you can do is just pick a spot and pour and spin. And then as I go, I'm just going to add different colors.
Okay, so just one at a time and then...
Yeah, you betcha, just start.
And you can just pick whichever color to change or whichever whenever you choose?
Absolutely. So it's a great form of expression, this kind of art is, because you can do really whatever you want and you can practice different techniques. So you're always learning and you're always changing, but you're doing the same thing. So if that makes any sense. So what you can do is take whatever white you have left and just paint your corners. That'll help the rest of it slide off.
Just with your finger and a little bit on the corners?
Yep. That is a common thing for beginners because the more you move it around, the more it's going to mix like that.
And give it that marble?
Yeah, give it that marble effect.
Once again, thank you, Amber, for showing me, trying to teach me anyways, how to do some painting.
Did well.
I don't know about that, but anyways, yeah, so that was pour painting. If you are looking for some new ways to paint, you can come out and check out the class. We'll be back here for a little bit more, but first we're gonna head back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. Taking a look at your current conditions right now, 10 degrees right now with some sun and a bit of cloud coverage there. So you might want to get used to that sun right now because we're not going to see it very much for the next couple of days. The winds are starting to die down a little bit compared to the 20 that we had last hour. Now we're seeing at 18 kilometers an hour coming from the north. Records for this time of year, 24 degrees was our warmest day back in 1992, and minus 11 was our coldest day back in 2008. As we take a look at the satellite radar map right now, there is a bunch of cloud activity in that Edmonton southwest area there, kind of just past there, Wainwright, and it's going to come our way in the next couple of days or so. So we are going to be expecting some cloud coverage, maybe even some, yes, I dare say it, snow possibly, and we'll showcase that later on in the 7-day forecast. Take a look at some other current temperatures. 8 degrees right now for Cold Lake, 9 for Athabasca and Whitecourt, Rocky Mountain House as well. 10 degrees also out in Edmonton and Red Deer, 11 for Jasper, 7 degrees for Edson, 9 degrees out in Meadow Lake and Prince Albert, 12 degrees for Saskatoon, 6 for Melfort, and 11 for North Battleford. So let's take a look at in-depth look to our regional temperatures. -2 overnight for North Battleford with a few clouds, warming up to 9 degrees tomorrow, where the winds will still be over that 20-kilometer-an-hour mark there at 26 there. So a high of 9 degrees tomorrow with cloudy skies. -3 overnight in Cold Lake with some clouds, warming up to 7 tomorrow with a bit of sun, but mostly cloudy on that front there. -3 for us overnight here in the border city at -3 with some cloud coverage, and warming up to 7 degrees tomorrow as we will see some clouds throughout the day tomorrow. So here's the next 3 days. Here's what it looks like. 7s for Sunday and Monday. Low there's are -5 and -6 for Sunday, Monday. So it's getting cooler. We're getting lower than the averages for this time of year. Usually we're around 0, but now that we're dropping down to the minuses, it's going to feel a little bit cooler, and then it'll warm up to 7 on those days. So we're going to see more sun on the Sunday, and then Monday we will get some more cloud coverage back with a 44% chance of some precipitation. That's the first look at your weather. We'll have more primetime local news coming up.
Welcome back. Well, the demand for Canadian beef is strong at home and abroad. Gerard Lampow finds out why the quality product is on the move in the Asian jewel.
On day one of that agreement, we got nearly a 12% tariff reduction in what gets paid on our Canadian beef.
John Maswal with the Canadian Cattlemen's Association is upbeat as the new deal with Asia is up and running and Canadian beef is poised to make real inroads in Japan.
Just the first couple of months in since the CPTPP, the Comprehensive and Progressive Trade Partnership in the Pacific, came into effect.
The trade deal is rolling out tariff reductions, which will put Canada on a level playing field with other beef competitors like Australia.
We're paying 38.5%, and now we're kind of down in the 26% range. That's margin back on the Canadian side.
Maswal is excited by the potential of new markets opening up for Canadian beef. Japan is a leading world importer of meat with a $9 billion market in 2017.
All about who can pay the most and contribute the most profit. Japan, it's like an extra 12% on top of what we used to get. I think that's why you're going to see a lot more of that product going into that marketplace.
Japan's meat imports for January 2019 was 3,545 metric tons, more than triple the volume of the previous month prior to the Asian jewel lowering tariffs on Canadian beef.
Early numbers for that first month of January, they were up fivefold from the same January the last year. When you add the offals into the equation, so cuts and offals altogether, we're up about triple on the total tonnage.
The cattle sector has at least one more reason to be bullish.
I think we had, all through the TPP negotiations, said that we thought we could easily double our trade to Japan and maybe even triple it. I think once we get a year's worth of data in there, we'll kind of see how good we were on making that prediction.
Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News.
Now let's take a look at your egg prices for today.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
The Lloydminster Red Dogs look to continue their undefeated streak tomorrow afternoon at Clark Stadium in Edmonton. The Red Dogs face St. Albert and are looking for a more consistent effort than last week, where they barely survived the final minutes against the Battle River Shock. They sit atop the Capital District with a 3-0 record. Across the globe, the conversation around Game of Thrones and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is dominating every conversation, even in sports. What if you could only choose one? Here at Primetime, we collected answers from local athlete, coaches, and more on what they would rather watch, the Game of Thrones series finale or Avengers Endgame. Enjoy.
Ooh. I've heard a lot of good things about Game of Thrones, but I haven't really got into it, so I'd probably go Avengers.
You know, I've never really watched either of them, but I think Game of Thrones would probably be the one I'd watch. It just looks a little bit more intense.
I've never watched either. I actually haven't seen either. Like, I haven't seen the Game of Thrones or any Avengers, so I can't answer that.
I think I'd go Game of Thrones. I'm sort of medieval sort of guy. I like that sort of stuff, the knights and everything. So yeah, I think that'd be probably my pick for sure.
I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I just can't wait. In fact, we're now making sure that we've got the right package with Shaw, just so that we can make sure that we watch it. My wife and I are huge fans.
Avengers.
Why do you choose Avengers?
Well, first of all, I don't really watch Game of Thrones. I don't know too much about it, but I've been a Marvel fan forever, so it's really interesting to watch.
Yeah, Avengers would be my, for sure. I mean, Thor, Captain America, all them guys, you know, they're obviously not my favorite. Superman's definitely my favorite, but for sure I'd have to pick Avengers.
Oh, the Thrones one, I guess.
Oh no, I don't watch either of them. I don't follow them too closely. Probably Avengers because I've seen more Marvel movies.
Well, I haven't seen Game of Thrones once, so I would have to say Avengers.
Probably the Avengers movie. I did actually watch those other ones, so I'd watch the Avengers, that's for sure.
Haven't really got into it, but I'm not really a big Avengers guy, so I'd have to go Game of Thrones.
I'm not really a big TV or movie fan watcher, but I think that judging from the critiques and everything, I think the Game of Thrones. I've watched some of the shows from that.
I'm probably going with Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, eh?
Yeah.
Who do you think ends up on the Iron Throne?
I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Back here once again at the Lloyd Cultural and Science Center, joined here by Amber, and we got the gloves on, sleeves rolled up, ready to get to work and mixing. So what's the first step in mixing?
Well, the first step would be to pick your colors. I always remind people that contrast is important. So usually if you're a beginner, I suggest doing white as one of your colors. So you want the color to be nice and vibrant when it hits the canvas, but you need it to be thin. So right now, if I put this gold in there, that is too thick. If you look in there, that is not going to pour nicely. So we need something to thin it out. We're going to add some Floetrol. So this will dry clear. This is actually available in hardware stores. House painters use it to thin out their paints when they're spraying houses. And it's amazing for acrylic pouring. Now this is distilled water with a little bit of Floetrol in it as well.
So you're just thinning that out then too, just so it's not as dense?
Exactly. So we'll stir. There's a lot of stirring involved.
And when you are stirring, what are you kind of looking for so that you have the right consistency?
So you're looking for kind of a heavy cream consistency. So right now it's not stirred enough, it's a little clumpy. We'll just wait till it's stirred all the way. If you work with certain paints all the time, you get to know them and their consistency.
All comes with experience?
Yeah, even different brands have different consistencies, right? So it's just getting to know your paint and how much you need to thin it and how much color you need to put in. And you also need to make sure that all of the paints you mix are the exact same consistency.
And what's the importance of that?
So if you mix something that's thicker with something that's thinner, the thicker one is going to hold its space on the canvas a lot longer than the thinner one, and so you're going to get uneven distribution and it's going to end up bumpy.
All right, we'll have more from there coming up later on into the show. But right now, let's take a look at some current temperatures right now. 10 degrees currently still for us here in Lloydminster. 10 degrees also out in Macklin and Marwayne. 9 out in St. Paul, Bonnyville, Pierceland. 8 degrees out in Lac La Biche, Cold Lake. 10s in Vegreville and Edmonton. 11 in Vermilion and Wainwright. 8 degrees out in Provost. 9 for Maidstone. 8 in St. Walburg and Meadow Lake. 9 for Green Lake. 11 degrees out in North Battleford. Other temperatures in Saskatchewan. 4 degrees in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows. 6 degrees in La Ronge. 4 also out in Flin Flon, 1 degree out in South End, -1s out in Uranium City and Stony Rapids, 0 out in Wollaston Lake. Currently 9 degrees in both Peace River and Grand Prairie, 7 in both Slave Lake and High Level, 1 degree out in Fort Chipewyan, and 6 degrees in Fort McMurray. Let's take a look at southern Alberta. 8s mostly across the board in Banff and Lethbridge and Calgary, 5 degrees for Medicine Hat, 12 degrees in Kindersley, 6 degrees for Swift Current, 11 in both Regina and Moose Jaw, 10 degrees out in Yorkton, and 13 degrees for Estevans. We take a look at tomorrow's temperatures, mostly between the 6 to 8 range for our area here, so 7 for us here in Lloydminster, as well as in Bonnyville, Lac La Biche, Cold Lake, Pierceland, and Isle of Cross. 8 degrees in Marwayne, Vermilion, St. Walburg, Maidstone, and Green Lake. 9 degrees out in North Battleford. 5 for both Provost and Macklin. 5 also out in Edmonton tomorrow. 6 degrees also out in Wainwright and St. Paul. Now, I did mention the wind is going to be, tomorrow's going to be the last day that we're going to see that over the 25 kilometer an hour range. So if you take a look at the next 48-hour wind speeds over here, so as we head into Saturday, early Saturday morning, and then early parts of the afternoon there, we're still going to see over the 25 kilometer an hour range there. Then as we get into the later part into Sunday morning, it should die off as we are going to be more into the 15 kilometer range there. Let's take a look at the next 24-hour temperature. So here we are around 9 o'clock. It's going to drop down at midnight there down to 1 degree, and then overnight we'll see that -2 and 3 degrees there, and then we'll warm back up as we hit to the 10 a.m. mark at 3 degrees, and then of course so on and so on as the day goes on, warming up to 7 degrees is the daytime high. But here's the next 7 days for you. 7 degrees on Sunday with a sun and cloud mix there. 7 degrees also on Monday, where it's going to be a little bit more cloudier. 58% chance of some rain snow mix on Tuesday and Wednesday. 48% chance though on the Wednesday with a high of 5 and a high of 4 for Wednesday. 4 degrees on Thursday and 10 degrees on Friday. We're going to see a very cloudy week, so the only time we may see some sunshine is on the Sunday, and the Monday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Back here once again, I'm with Amber, and now we have all our paints are mixed, but we still have one more thing to add, and what is that?
So we are going to add an oil. Another thing that is popular for adding is rubbing alcohol, but we are using torches today, so we're not going to use that. The oil helps to create a little bit of disturbance in there, because using a water-based paint like acrylic and oil, it will create cells and it will create different interesting aspects in your painting.
And why do you do it right before you're starting your pouring?
Well, because it's already reacting to the paint here, and you don't want it to react too much where it starts almost creating little chunkies in there. So I'm going to do a dirty cup pour with you.
Okay.
And what that is layering into one cup, and then it's also called a flip cup because then we flip it on to the canvas, okay?
And what kind of effect does that kind of have on the canvas?
A marbling effect usually. You're going to see a lot of cells forming, and you're not going to have as much control as you would, say, a free pour.
All right, perfect. So now it doesn't matter which we put in first, or?
It doesn't, but a lot of people, if you're really into paint like I am, a little bit of a paint nerd, you know that different kinds of paints have different weights to them. So a white, for example, will pull through, it's very heavy, it will pull through all of them and mix quite a bit. So I tend to add a white at the top and a white at the bottom. And so
just on top like this.
There you go.
Kind of hold it.
Make sure you hold it really well. There you go.
And then back onto the stilts. If I can find them. Just up and kind of over?
Yeah.
Perfect. So while we wait for this to kind of settle on the canvas and I try not to lose too much more paint, we'll be back here in a little bit looking at some different techniques. But first we'll go back into the studio.
All right, so with our question of the day today with Avengers and all those lineups outside of Maze Cinemas yesterday and continuing into today, we asked, what would you wait outside hours in line for? Some of the comments are, you know, Lady Gaga tickets, Saturday Night Live tickets,
Oh, yeah,
a lot of
not bad, not
concerts,
bad.
because those are pretty interesting. To meet Mark Wahlberg was one,
Oh,
actually.
interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I could see myself doing that.
really.
Well, maybe.
And of course, we had the, well, of course, last year when Braden Holtby brought the Stanley Cup to Lashburn, it was, those lines were way out to all the way to the
Oh,
streets.
yeah, I
It was
bet.
very, at the Sportsplex, that was really kind
Yeah.
of intense. Those are, I was
Well,
there
those
for
are
that.
like special moments that don't happen all
Oh,
the
yeah.
time. So, of course, people are going to get super excited over it, and rightly so. That is a pretty exciting thing.
Absolutely. And then another thing was that, you know, family. It's one, some woman said, you know, one woman said, I wish I could wait hours in line to see my dad again.
Which is really
Very,
nice.
very
Yeah.
touching indeed.
Yes.
Well, we're very close to announcing the Pet Pad winner in just a little bit here, but let's take a look at some of the submissions that we have for today. So this is Felix and Snowflake.
Adorable.
Very
best
cute,
buds.
very cute pair there. Next we have Charlie, who's just
Aw,
happy,
Just posing.
very happy. Next we have Baby, who's eating the toilet paper holder.
Yeah, he's
trying
doing
to.
something.
He's something. This is Prada and Millie.
Aw.
This is another cute duo.
Yes.
And last but not least, this is Coco celebrating her 7th birthday.
Oh, adorable.
Very adorable.
Yes.
So we're gonna announce the winner very, very soon here. Make sure you stay tuned to find out if you're the lucky winner.
We want to see your pet. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
I'm joined here today with Danielle Vachon, who is a fine artist, and she's here to talk about the Paint It Forward event that's partnered with the Gold Horse Casino. So can you just give me a little description of what this event entails?
So we started out working with the Thorpe Center, and they were wanting to do some sort of an event to bring some just light and everything to their whole facility and everything. So we are going to work together and do some art pieces actually next Friday. And the Gold Horse Casino teamed with me to put on an event that we can showcase our work that we do together. So with that, I sided with a few fashion designers, artists that are coming in to donate some work to a silent auction that we can make the proceeds go towards the Thorpe Center. And then we also have a comedian coming in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did your partnership with the Thorpe Center come to be?
I started a Paint It Forward program. I've been a full-time artist for going on 8 years now, and I've been working up north, and I've started painting it forward about 5 years ago, where I would donate something to go to charity or painting with schools, and we would give it back to, say, like the Sexual Assault Center here. So the kids would have something that we could give, and pay it forward pretty much, but their art would do the work, I guess, is how it all happened.
And why do you think that's so important for, especially young kids to be exposed to something like art and like learning to pay it forward?
I think paying it forward in say even our community, if we all start working together more often, it gives us a chance to help without having to do much. So as in painting, it's therapy for not only children or adults or youth of any sorts, and it's so easy of just painting, and if we can donate that and their talents, I think it's just one of those easy things that we can just keep doing without having to do like a lot. Yeah.
And for this event that's coming up, what can people expect when coming?
So we start off with a nice dinner, and we go into a fashion show. We have 3 designers coming in. We also have some informationals about the Thorpe Centre. We have a client doing a speech about his whole experience with the Thorpe Centre, and we're doing art auctions, and then we finish off with a comedian. So it's just kind of, we wanted to have it a nice night out, that it's not all about addictions and counseling and stuff like that. We wanted it to be fun, but still very informative, and why we should stick together as a community, and why that Thorpe Centre is so important to like what we have here. So.
And where can people find tickets to attend the event?
We have tickets online that are available, and we also have like in-hand tickets that we're going around and letting people purchase, so they have in-hand tickets as well.
And before we wrap up, can you tell me if anyone wants to find more information, or if they are unable to attend the event, how can they get more involved, or if they have any questions, where can they get answers?
I guess I'm very available to speak with if anyone ever wants to do something like this. It's they can get a hold of me pretty much anywhere. Facebook. I have my art page. I mean, I'm easy to get a hold of, and I just think just reach out, and we all like to work together. This community's been nothing but supportive, and we can make a difference all together. So.
Okay, well, great. I hope you have a fantastic event, and especially since this is all going to a great cause. So
yeah, it is.
Thank you for coming in and talking more about it and getting the word out.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's Justin Stretch with 101.9 Boom and 93.7 Wayne FM, and here's what's happening. Right now we have a crazy contest going on called Fast and Curious, where you could win yourself a gorgeous 2019 Nissan 370Z courtesy of Lloydminster Nissan. All you have to do to enter to qualify is head over to one of the participating locations. Right now it's at Northern Factory Workwear in Lloydminster. Go over there, say hi to the incredible staff, throw your name in the ballot bin, and who knows, you could be off to the races. All you have to do to qualify is make sure you call us back if we call your name Monday morning at 7:40 a.m. Each week the vehicle is in a different location, so make sure you're staying up to date with everything at 1019boom.com or 937wayne.com. That's where you're going to find all the info and all the locations. Like I said, Monday morning, 7:40 a.m., we call a qualifier's name, and then they only have 370 seconds to call us back. We couldn't make it too easy. On top of that, there's a whole bunch of amazing concerts coming through town. August 15th to the 18th, Extreme Mudfest hits Bonnyville. Tickets starting at $105, and you get to see Tim Hicks and Default headline. It's going to be an incredible show. On top of that, Elton John added a second date to the Farewell Yellow Brick Road Tour. That's going down September 27th and 28th at Rogers Place. You do not want to miss that. Who knows when the next time he'll be coming around is. I'm Justin with 101.9 Boom and 93.7 Wayne FM, and that's what's happening.
Furniture supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Todd Crawshaw is joining us today. Todd is with the Rock and Roll Society of Edmonton, the executive director. Todd, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Such an exciting event coming up for you guys with Rockfest. Tell me a little bit about the lineup that you guys have announced. It's amazing.
Thanks for having me here today. This is new technology for me, so I'm feeling young. This is our 9th annual Edmonton Rock Music Festival. We are a little different, by the way, in that we are a charity. The proceeds that we raise at this particular festival are used by us to operate what is called the Center for Arts and Music. We work with kids in Edmonton. We teach them how to play instruments. We teach them how to write songs, form bands. The height of the year for them is we get our top kids on the main festival stage, playing in front of a crowd of 4,000 people. And these are junior high school kids. That's why we do this. It's all about the kids.
That is.
But the lineup this year,
that must be super exciting. Sorry, Todd. I didn't realize that that's where the money went to, and how that all the proceeds went. That must be so exciting for them.
it's exciting for the kids. It's exciting for, we've got passionately involved supporters and volunteers who have been with us since day one. We feel like it's not just a fun rock concert, but it's a concert with a heart. And it's very meaningful to be able to help some kids who maybe just don't have the same opportunities for music education or cultural engagement that a lot of other people have.
Well, tell me now, Todd, who will the kids be sharing the stage with throughout the weekend as far as your lineup goes?
All right. On Friday, August 16th, we have a local band called Radioactive that will get people dancing, followed by one of my favorite groups out of Vancouver, The Odds, who I've seen probably 12 times as a civilian through my life. And batting cleanup that day is Sloan. East Coast boys, they've got a string of hits. The first time I heard them, I thought, you know, these guys are really almost a Beatle-esque style of songwriting. So I'm very excited about the Friday lineup. And then on Saturday, August 17th, we open with two local bands. One is called One Night Stand, a power trio, followed by Dextrous, who are really cool. They're all around 25 years old, but they look like they walked out of 1970s glam rock in their style. They're going to be real crowd pleaser. Starting with our name bands, we have Darby Mills, who's better known as the lead singer of the Headpins. She'll be doing the Deep Headpins catalog. I saw her last year perform in Edmonton. Her voice is stellar after so many years on the road. Followed by Saskatoon's favorite sons, Wide Mouth Mason. Followed by St. Albert, Alberta's favorite son, Mo Berg and the Pursuit of Happiness. Followed by Prince Edward Island's Haywire. And then we've got a really cool trio of co-headliners. Greg Kinn from the Greg Kinn Band had the breakup song in Jeopardy. Tommy Two-Tone, who had 8675309, a phone number that just recently sold for $50,000 in New York City. And batting cleanup on Saturday is the one and only Rick Springfield, best known for Jesse's Girl, but he's got a very deep catalog of hits, is an amazing guitar player, and I have to say, for 69 years old, this man is looking in top-notch form. So it's the most artists we've ever had in one festival, and I am super excited about this.
Now, tickets go on sale Monday, Todd. Tell me how you can get them and what the prices are.
You know, the easiest way to get them, especially for people who are outside of the Edmonton area, is online at edrocks.ca. There you'll find ticket links as well as a lot of information on the CAM program and all the artists. Locals in Edmonton have got two retailers they can get the hard copies from, called Myers Music on 118th Ave, the Acoustic Music Shop on White, and our prices in advance, and we encourage people to get them in advance. Friday are going for $65 a ticket. Saturday is $90, and a full weekend pass is $140. Slight escalation of about $10 across the board at the gate, but like I say, get them early because I think that we're going to sell out this year.
Well, and great lineup, and what a great way to spend a weekend as well. And are you still looking for volunteers at this point, or do you have that all?
We've had a really good response with new volunteer applications, but every year with every festival, some people move, some people get sick. So anyone who wants to volunteer can do so through our website. And I have to say, if any good Southern Alberta people want to make the trek up to Edmonton for this, there's a hotel called the Radisson on Gateway Boulevard that in a couple of weeks' time is going to offer out-of-town patrons a cheaper rate on hotel rooms if they want to come to Edmonton August 16th and 17th.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Todd. Really appreciate it. And we'll be chatting with you more as we get closer and update and talk about times and exactly what you're looking for and getting closer, you know, talking about parking and that sort of thing. So thank you once again for joining us, and we're really looking forward to being at the festival this year.
Thank you. Hi, all my Southern Alberta friends. Love you all.
Well, once again, we are back here at the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Center, where we've been learning a little bit about that spin technique here in the last hour. A little bit different from the dirty pour technique that we did learn, where you can now spin your canvas and get those different patterns as you are painting on that canvas. We also learned a little bit more about that dirty pour there in the first hour again, just putting that cup there on the canvas and then flipping it over. And again, you still want to spread it out. We also learned a little bit about putting those different compounds into the mixture, thinning out your paint and making sure that it does flow smoothly. And again, all kind of the same consistency so you do paint better. Again, these programs will be running starting in June, where you can learn to do your own version of the pour painting techniques. That's all from us tonight. Have a great weekend, and we'll throw it back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. Now, it's that time of the show because we all enjoy this time of the week where we're going through the pet photos and trying to pick something that's something just for the winner.
Yes, of course, I love this part.
All right, let's take a look and see who is the lucky winner.
Okay.
Milo.
Oh, Milo, adorable picture.
And he's very happy. So congratulations, Milo. We'll be in contact with you on how to pick up your Lloydminster Pet Pat gift card. So make sure you and do that. And thanks to everybody who submitted photos to us. If you want a chance to win, submit a photo on our Facebook page in our comments section. Please include your pet's name and pet name or names of your pets if you have more than one in there. It's always a fun time when we get to do this kind of thing. It's one of the things I do like about this job as well.
Yeah, I never complain looking at pet pictures all day, seeing different pets that people have. And, I always find, I never called a pet ugly or an animal ugly. I find all pets cute. So no matter what, I love seeing people's pets and seeing what kind of animals that they have. It's
Absolutely,
really exciting,
indeed. Well, that's going to do it for us here this week, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.